Hello mathematicians, here's the video for Home Connections 101 and 102. Remember that quadrilaterals have 4 sides. A trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides. In this case, the top is parallel to the bottom, but the left and right are not parallel. Rectangle, angle, angle, all about the right angle. So if it has 4 right angles, it's a rectangle. A rhombus, this is not always true, but just say yes. On a bus, everything's the same length. The seats, the windows, the kindergartners. And to be a square, very specific. It's totally hip to be a square. It's got to have 4 sides, 4 right angles, and all those 4 sides are the same length. A parallelogram only applies to 4-sided shapes, and it's when the top is parallel to the bottom and the left is parallel to the right. Filling out this table for number 1, that first picture has 0 right angles, 2 pair of congruent sides, and 2 pair of parallel sides. It's definitely a parallelogram, but I think I would also accept rhombus because to me, it looks like those 4 sides are the same length. So I think circling 2 things is appropriate for letter A. Letter B, there are 0 right angles. I see 1 pair of congruent sides. Remember that congruent means exactly the same. And pair of parallel sides, I see 1 pair of parallel sides. The parallel sides are here and here. And that shape is a trapezoid. 1 pair of parallel sides. Letter C, I see 0 right angles. I see 2 pair of congruent sides. The top and bottom are congruent. The left and right are congruent. And I see 2 pair of parallel sides, which makes it a parallelogram, not a square. Rhombus, the sides are different. Rectangle or right angles, not a trapezoid. So I would circle parallelogram. All right, on to page 102. We're going to start with the same line, but we're going to make a different shape for all of them. The example is a square. Letter A is a parallelogram, but it can't be a rhombus. So a rhombus is when all the sides are the same length, so just make sure your sides are not the same length. And a rectangle is 90-degree angles, so that means no right angles, which means it kind of has to be like a slanted shape. So here is an example, and yours doesn't have to look exactly like this, but it could look something like this. So it's a parallelogram. The top is parallel to the bottom, the left is parallel to the right. It's not a rhombus because a rhombus is when all 4 sides are the same, and to me it looks like 2 shorter sides and 2 longer sides. And it's not a rectangle because there are no right angles, so we're good. Letter B, a trapezoid, 4 sides with only 1 pair of parallel sides. Here is an example of a trapezoid because it has 1 pair of parallel sides. And letter C is a rectangle, rectangle, angle, angle, all right angles, but it can't be a square. So just make sure that the sides are not all the same length. Okay? So it's a rectangle because it has right angles, and it's not a square because the sides are not the same length. Number 3, which of your shapes above has the largest area? This will be different if you drew different shapes than me. So area is how much space is on the inside. And on a grid, it's really easy because you can count the squares. So in my particular case, C has the largest area. It has the most squares on the inside. In fact, you can even figure it out by counting the squares. But I can tell with mine, at least the pictures I drew, C is obviously the largest area. Here are the answers to 101 and 102. All right, kids, I will see you in class.